Before we begin today's meeting, my name is Greg Hodge, and I'm going to be acting as a facilitator today. I'd like to share a few housekeeping items related to the facilities, the Zoom participation, interpretation, and the public comment period. And Letitia, if you could please interpret, and let me know when you finish, because I can't hear your interpretation, I don't think.
Sure, no worries. Antes de comenzar esta junta, mi nombre es Greg Hodge. Me gustaría compartir algunos temas de mantenimiento para lo que está relacionado a esta junta, la participación por la plataforma de Zoom y la interpretación y el periodo de comentario público. Eh, I'm, I'm completed. You can continue.
Thank you. As mentioned previously, we'll have a translation today provided by Letitia and Mireille. Please note the interpretation globe. Please click it and select your language. All participants need to select a language, either English or Spanish, to be able to hear the translators. For both tablet and phone users, you can click the More button to find the interpretation option. At the top of your screen, you can click on the Spanish translation tab to view the presentation in Spanish. Letitia, please interpret.
Sure. Y como mencionado anteriormente, vamos a tener las traducciones o interpretaciones proveído el día de hoy por Leticia y Mireille. Favor de notar que tiene el glóbulo de interpretación. Usted le va a hacer clic ahí y seleccionar su lenguaje. A todos los participantes que ocupen seleccionar un lenguaje, favor de escogerse al inglés o al español para poder escuchar a nuestros intérpretes. Para la tableta o los usuarios por teléfono, usted le puede hacer clic en el botón que es más o está escrito como More para encontrar la opción de interpretación. Arriba de su pantalla, usted le puede hacer clic en la parte de la translación o lo que es el Spanish Translation para mirar la presentación en el español. Muchas gracias. Thank you. You can go ahead.
All right, please go to the next slide. All right. We will be hearing public comments today on agenda items 5 and 9. We will call for virtual public comments by asking participants to raise their virtual hands. We ask that all Zoom participants remain muted until they are called on to speak. For virtual participants on a computer, you can find the raise hand feature under React. For phone or tablet virtual participants, you will find this feature under More. For phone participation, you can raise or lower your hand by pressing *9. Once you have been called on, please unmute yourself to provide public comment. For phone participants, you can mute and unmute yourself by pressing *6. We appreciate all participants staying on mute until it is your turn to speak. Please share your name and any affiliation before giving your public comment. Also, the chat feature will be turned on during the public comment period. We ask that EJAC members and the DTSC staff wait to respond to public commenters, if desired, until all speakers are heard to ensure commenters have enough time to speak. We also ask that EJAC members stay muted when not speaking and raise their virtual hands if possible. Please go to the next slide. Technical support will technical support will be provided today by Tracy Fuerte. If you need any additional assistance, we have help available at 323-204-6877 or email tracy.fuerte@dtsc.ca.gov. In addition, the meeting materials can be found at wow, long link, but it's https colon // dtsc.ca.gov /environmental justice advisory council /. This meeting is being recorded today, and the meeting recording and other meeting items such as minutes can be found at the previously mentioned website following the meeting. If you can go to the next slide, that would be great. All right. Now I'd like to call for the EJAC roll call. We ask that all EJAC members state their name and pronouns when called. Also, if you wish, please share how you are feeling coming into the meeting today. So I'm going to call this in alphabetical order. Miguel Alator.
Miguel Alatorre, he, him pronouns, feeling excited.
Thanks, Miguel. George Galvis. Kevin Hamilton.
Here, he, him, and I'm tired. Been a long day.
Long day. All right.
Just went through a
Karen.
6-hour meeting at CARB, so
Okay. Well, we hope you can hang with us. Karen Lincoln.
Yes, Karen Lincoln present. I am also feeling excited and very hopeful.
Excellent. Nam Nguyen. Magali Sanchez Hall.
Magali Sanchez Hall, and I'm concerned.
All right. And Miss Levon Stone. We're hoping she can join us momentarily. Let's go to the next slide.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Oh, she's here. Hi, Miss Stone.
Hi, Evangelist Levon Stone. And I'm also the Executive Director of the Photo and Environmental Justice Network. And I'm glad to see everyone is here and hope we can make some progress.
Excellent, excellent. Great to have you. It would appear that we have a quorum so that we can proceed. Please go to the next slide. Now I'd like to review the meeting agenda and the meeting agreements. The times are approximate and subject to change. Agenda items might be taken out of order to accommodate speakers and to maintain a quorum. So today we've been welcomed by one of our co-chairs, Karen Lincoln. We need to approve the September meeting minutes. Third, report out from the governance subcommittee with some discussion on those governance documents with an opportunity to vote and approve. 5, public comment for EJAC governance. Report out from the work plan subcommittee. Discussion on the work plan. Report out from the Equity and Wellness Institute with public comment, and then next steps and adjournment. If you could go to the next slide. So we just have a few really basic meeting agreements. We want to encourage everyone to be present and put away phones and other distractions and really be engaged in active listening. We like to encourage everyone to be uninhibited. Your responses are valued very much, and we need to hear your voice. And this goes to members of the public as well as the EJAC. Be mindful of time. As one of my mentors said to me, be brilliant and be brief. So please contribute and ensure that others have opportunity to contribute as well. Disagreement is okay, and allow for conversation to have a constructive, intent, and accept non-closure. Focus on interests, not positions. And by that, we mean identify the needs that must be met to solve a problem. And I'll add one more, which is for purposes of our interpretation and translations, please talk clearly and deliberately. You don't have to talk very slow, but make sure that you're talking clearly enough that our interpreters can capture your comments. With that, I want to turn this over to Miguel for the adoption and any revisions if necessary to the minutes from September.
So I wanted to check in, council members, are there any corrections to the September meeting minutes?
Karen Lincoln, I have none.
Thank you, Co-Chair Lincoln. Magali?
None as well.
Kevin?
I have none. We move to
Mrs.
approve.
Ms. Stone, I didn't catch it if you said if you approve or not of the September meeting minutes so we can move forward.
I just wanted to say that I don't think that we really got a chance as a body to go through the whole governance document, but that's neither here nor there.
So just to clarify, is it okay to move forward with the September meeting minutes?
Yes,
Okay, I think that was unanimous. I think back to you, Greg.
Cool. Thank you. All right, let's go to the next slide. We now want to hear a report from Kevin Hamilton on the governance committee.
This is a quick point of order. I put a motion on the floor to approve the minutes. Do we not need to follow that parliamentary procedure, or we're just kind of winging it? Everyone agrees and we're going to move forward.
We can take a step back. It was moved. Was there a second?
No, I never got a second. So
Second, this is Karen Lincoln.
And we'd ask all in favor,
Aye.
I
Aye.
opposed, any opposed, and any abstentions? And through the chair, I think the motion carries. Cool. Thank you for that. We're going to hear now from Kevin Hamilton on the governance subcommittee.
Great. So the governance committee has been working to draft the final document to provide guidance to the council about how it operates and makes decisions. The document has been reviewed by the rest of the council. I would not say that it's been approved by the rest of the council, but it has been reviewed by them. The governance document was shared via social media and other tools, DTSC's EJAC webpage, and it was sent out between the 13th of November and today through various e-blasts. The document covers EJAC's mission and vision, principles, meeting agreements, and decision-making, along with the parliamentary rules process, records, and archiving processes. Rules of engagement, including EJAC community engagement practices, meeting structure and frequency, subcommittees, and co-chairs, have all been covered within the document. The governance document is a living document, and public comments can still be made by sending emails to EJAC info, that's EJACINFO, at dtsc.ca.gov. And please do. So if folks on the committee feel that it hasn't been adequately reviewed and commented to, please throw them into the hat as well. Thank you.
Cool. We can go to the next slide, please. And now we want to move to a discussion of the governance documents. After some public comment, the council will have an opportunity to vote and approve or hold off on and continue with edits. All right. So the floor is open for any of the EJAC members to discuss the governance subcommittee report. So the floor is open.
I suggest we look at the first paragraph.
I was going to ask our technical support if someone could put those governance documents on the screen for us to reference.
That would be really helpful.
Okay. Let's give our folks a moment to do that.
I also wanted to make a comment and say, and I apologize if I didn't remember correctly, but these have not been shared out to the rest of the general public, correct? Or in terms of our governance documents, or they were shared already?
They were shared
great.
November 13th through December 3rd, and we did not receive any public comments via email, but there is going to be space for public comment following this segment.
Perfect. I'm sorry, I needed that quick recap. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. We'll give another moment or two for staff to pull those documents up if you can on a shared screen.
Yes, I'm pulling up. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
All right. Cool. Thanks.
And while we wait, I'm going to ask Tracy if I might, if it would be helpful to share the process in terms of um, the review process, the preparation, and then the sharing of the document so that we can have those dates on record.
Thank you, Karen. 1 second.
Thank you for that. So maybe I can help move this forward a little bit quickly, and I'll go ahead and read out the first portion, which is the EJAC mission and vision statements, which is vision. The DTSC Environmental Justice Advisory Council, or EJAC, envisions a California where all residents live free from exposure to toxic chemicals in their environment, food, and everyday products. Ms. Stone or anyone else, did anyone have any comments or anything to modify or add to this, or are we good to move this forward?
Oh, okay. You're saying that's the first paragraph?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. It's the first, it's our vision, and then our mission would be the second portion, which I haven't read aloud yet.
Yeah, the first portion is fine.
Okay, awesome. So two, the mission of the DTSC Environmental Justice Advisory Council is to advise and support the Board of Environmental Safety and the Department of Toxic Substances Control. The council provides a vital platform for residents, particularly those living and working in low-income communities and communities of color, and disproportionately impacted by hazardous waste and toxic substances, to voice their concerns and shape DTSC's policy decisions. The EJAG is committed to ensuring that communities' concerns and perspectives are centered in the DTSC's efforts to advance environmental health and safety for all Californians.
We suggest that you add in military Superfund sites. This is where our veterans and their families have lived and worked and played.
Would you say including military Superfund sites, Ms.
Yes,
Levon?
yes, sir. Yes.
Because it says all safety for all Californians already, so I'm not sure. Is it because you feel the military Superfund sites are left out of Californians because they're U.S.
Ab-
government sites?
Absolutely. The
Got it.
SB 12898 was written by President Clinton because of the closure of these military sites and the effects that the toxins were having on soldiers and their families. And that's why I'm concerned that more attention have not been paid to this particular community or these particular communities.
Can I say, for the sake of wordsmithing things, can somebody help lay out where we could best insert that word or that phrase that Ms. Stone brought up? Because I do think it's important.
Thank you.
We do have a staff person taking notes, and we can amend this and make changes after the meeting, since you're just discussing it at this point, but we are capturing that information. And when you're ready, I can also share the process in regards to what went into creating this document.
Okay.
I have a question, comment regarding that.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I think the difficulty here is the purview of DTSC and their ability to regulate federal lands, whether it's military or otherwise, until those lands have been turned over to the state for the state to administrate those lands. And I think, Ms. Levon, your point is well made that a lot of that land, which I live about a mile from an air base, that was turned over in that fact, and my housing development actually sits on the original dump where they put all their trash. So yeah, I'm not sure how to address that. I'll be honest with you. It's still federal land, then DTSC has
Oh,
no power there. I
okay.
don't think, but I don't know for sure, to be honest with you.
Okay, what I'm saying is we have worked with DTSC as well as the EPA, as well as every other government organization. And there was no way that the military Superfund sites or any other site that was affecting the health of the communities and causing cancers and all that, there's no way it should be left out. We have always worked with DTSC from the beginning, and these lands now have been turned over to the cities. We are in a red zone when we're looking at the city of Seaside because there's so much that has happened that needs to be recognized and dealt with when we're talking about these communities. Like I said, SB 12898 was written by President Clinton because of the facts that the training that was given to these veterans and their families, the stuff that was used, all the toxins and stuff that was used, was not regulated by anyone.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that comment. We got a couple of more folks who want to weigh in on this. Magali and then Serlene Grant.
Yes, this document, the governance document, is basically a general document, and for that specific, it should be included in the working plan committee. So this is just what our vision is, and it should stay very short. And it is the whole state of California, regardless of who owns the land. So right now, I think for the purpose of time, I think we should move forward with the mission and vision statement, which is only the general idea of what our work will be. Once for that specific work that needs to be done, and I totally agree with you, Ms. Levon, we should include it in the work plan committee.
Thank you for that comment. Was there another comment from Serlene?
I did see her hand up, but I'm looking through the speaker list and she may have had a disconnect.
Maybe she disconnected.
Yeah, I heard a voice, but I could hardly hear it. I thought it was her voice, but I could hardly.
Yeah.
But I would say all in all, we are ready to move this forward.
All right. Well, let's hear from public speakers. There's still an opportunity for that. And then we can circle back in at the pleasure of the EJAC. You can vote on this. You can vote it with the revision. You can vote it with the or hold off on voting on it altogether. So we would like to open the floor for public comments.
I'm sorry, can I intervene 1 second, Greg?
Sure.
I just wanted to revisit the invitation for Tracy to
Yeah.
review the process before we move on. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, that'd be fine. Tracy?
Thank you so much, Karen. So just to share, the subcommittee put this document together in the month of October during their working meeting. And they had the subcommittee review period between October 24th through October 31st. Then the document was sent out for the full council to review the document between November 3rd and November 10th. And then we actually placed it out for public comment on the website and via e-blast on November 13th through December 3rd. So that is the time period that it took to put the document together and the levels of review that were done for this document.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Serlene, are you back on? But you had a comment. All right. In the meantime, let's go to public speakers, public comment. Speakers are going to be given 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name and affiliation if relevant. If you're on Zoom and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand now. We will start with Zoom speakers, and then we will call for comments from the Spanish language dial-in line, and then read the public comments from the chat out loud. Are there any public speakers on this item? And I'm looking in the chat and seeing, I don't see any at this point. We'll give the public another moment or two. Okay, there's one hand. It's is it Amber?
Hello, it's Ambar.
Amber.
But yeah, I'm so sorry. I logged in pretty late. But I'm assuming we're giving comments on how it's written right now, right? The governance sheet.
On the governance piece. And
Cool. Okay.
could you, Ambar, could you identify if you have a affiliation with a group and then make your comment?
Yes, thank you. Yes, hi everyone. My name is Amba Rivera. I'm the staff researcher at Communities for a Better Environment. It is a social environmental justice group here in Southeast LA. I wanted to ask if the EJAC can add a labor acknowledgement as well. It's very similar to it's in the same category as the land acknowledgement. I believe it's in your core agreements, inclusion, equity, page 3. Yeah, if you could include like maybe a labor acknowledgement, it's very similar to like what AQMD, Air Quality Management District has, where they, honor and respect the labor of people who have and do reside here and their efforts to foster a healthier environment. I think it'd be great to have this acknowledgement as well for frontline workers who are handling toxic and potentially harmful materials, right? We should show that we support the workers and recognize their efforts and ensure that they and their families are protected from toxins, right? Because, once they go home, like there's still some type of harm. We want to make sure they're protected at all levels of this process. And it should also just be aligned more often with all environmental agencies in the state of California that want to protect public health and environment. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ambar. Is there any other public comment? Serlene, are you back on now?
I am. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, excellent. The moment has somewhat passed, but to the through the chairs, co-chairs, to Ms. Stone's point about Superfund sites and involvement, DTSC, and to Kevin's comment, DTSC, for the record, does have some involvement with cleanup sites that do become Superfund sites. So what I would like to offer is that at some meeting in the near future, we can give you a presentation on DTSC's role with the federal government and with the declaration of Superfund sites, so that everyone can understand how we do work in that arena. I wanted to offer that about 10 minutes ago. So
and it would be great, certainly for members of the public who may not know who you are in your role for you to identify yourself.
Thank you. I apologize to everyone. We had a planned power outage in my community, and And so I'm piecing together a way to participate in this meeting tonight. I am Serlene Grant, the Deputy Director of the Office of Environmental Equity, the unit that houses the EJAC and is responsible for public participation, environmental justice, and tribal affairs for DTSC. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Were there any additional public comments before we move this back to the EJAC for any additional comments you may have? All right. Seeing none, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can we also comment? I just wanted to say that
Yes.
the Superfund sites are no longer federal land. They're being sold off, used right now for public land. Because if it was still federal sites, we wouldn't have $1 million houses being built on Superfund sites. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Stone. Any additional comments from the EJAC members?
I have no
All right.
additional comments. I want to second, Greg, your comment to Ambar. I want to thank Ambar for her comment.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Are you all prepared to vote on this item?
We
I
still
feel
have a lot
confident.
of, I'm sorry, are we voting on one single item for the whole governance document or by each individual category?
What's your pleasure? Because we can go through as we began to do with Miguel, through the vision, the mission, and other items in the document. But I'm assuming that by now people from the EJAC have actually reviewed this document, and maybe that's not a great assumption. But Miguel, you can please
Yeah,
take
I
the
just
floor.
wanted to interject and say that for the sake of time, yeah, we all had received this previously and all have reviewed it and had a chance to look at it. I think enough time, and I would say I feel comfortable with moving it forward unless any of my fellow EJAC members have a reason why we should deliberate or feel the need to, I guess, slow it down and go point by point, but I have no problem with moving it forward. The entire document.
I agree.
Is there a motion to that effect? Somebody want to make the motion?
I'll make a motion. I make a motion to approve the governance documents as is.
I second.
Okay.
Sorry,
So it's
2
been-
seconds.
Those
Been
in
moved.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any abstains or opposed?
I have a question. Okay, due
Call
to
the
the
question.
fact that the document is so long, and I have problems with my eyes right now. Just had another surgery. I'm just wondering when it comes to how many meetings you can miss and be absent or present or whatever. Is there a certain portion of the document that has that information?
Spanish language. Folks, to see if there are any comments.
So the question Ms. Stone has is about attendance requirements. Can you maybe pull the document back up for a moment and address that, or if somebody remembers where that language is, if it's included at all?
Not on my part. What about you, Kevin? No.
So I will add that the language regarding attendance is included both in the framework for the EJAC as well as the governance document.
I just wanted to know where.
Also, while we're scrolling down, could we be reminded that it was what 3 meetings that we're allowed to miss or 2 meetings?
It's 3.
Okay. And I wanted to ask the other fellow EJAC members, when does the clock start on these missed meetings? Are we starting that, since the inception of the EJAC and going by our past attendance, or are we going to start the clock afresh from the creation of these governance documents?
Well, I guess my comment is prior to the creation of the governance documents, the framework has guidelines regarding attendance. And if we wanted to abide by those guidelines, then the clock would have started at the inception of the EJAC.
Yeah, Magali?
I suggest that for the purpose also of us moving forward for start working because Ms. Levon already wants to move on and start working. I suggest that this should be first approved and then provided to all EJAC members so they know that this is what it will take for them to participate as a EJAC member.
So
Okay,
just to
so-
clarify, Magali, you're basically just so to make sure as a facilitator I can understand. Are you suggesting that the clock would begin once you all have voted to adopt this particular the governance document? Is that what I understand you to say?
Yes, correct, Greg. Thank you.
Okay.
How do other folks feel? Because I would say I'm in the middle. I can go either way. But I do think I agreed earlier with Co-Chair Lincoln that I want to say we did have a standard even before the governance document existed in terms of attendance, but I could be mistaken.
I reviewed the document just now. God love Control F. And in my final draft of the document, it says 25% of the meetings is the standard. I may not have the most current, but that's what I have in my drive.
That'd be 3 meetings.
There it is, right there. There you go. Thank you.
In that
Like
case,
I
with
said,
all this
God
being
loves
said,
Control F.
yeah, right. So are we
So
okay
do
to
I.
move this forward then?
Yeah, you have a motion on the floor.
We do.
And
And a second.
a second. And to the chair, you ready to call the question?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Thank you.
Are you ready to take a vote at this point to
Oh,
call the
yeah.
question? Okay. So by roll call, Miguel,
I
Kevin,
Aye.
Karen,
Yes.
Magali,
Aye.
Ms. Stone,
Okay, I'm just a little confused. Are we talking about when we became a member of the EJAC or after we vote on the
if
document?
Miguel or Karen, if as a coach, chairs, can you all weigh in on that? Because yeah, just as an interpretation, are you going to start the clock from when the EJAC first started because the framework was in place, or are you starting the clock today if you pass since this motion seems to be headed for passage?
I would say because of the language in there where it's going based off a percentage of the overall meetings, I would find it acceptable to move forward and retroactively apply these standards to the EJAG.
Point of order.
I agree.
I call point of order.
Go ahead, Kevin.
So if we're going to do that, then we need to modify the motion to include that. So
Yeah,
we
that's
have to
correct.
do what we say and say what we do. So it's
Are you willing to offer a amendment to the motion?
I am willing to offer that amendment to the motion that we will consider this document as, or this criteria, as being in effect uh, from the beginning of, I want to be clear on this. Are we agreeing that
From the inception of
this
the
would be in
EJAC.
effect from our initial meeting?
It's your amendment, so you get
Right,
to
that's what I'm saying,
yeah,
that it's
you
in
get to say
effect
what it is.
from our initial meeting. And I want to
Yeah.
remind that the language doesn't call just I don't know if Ms. Levon was had a question about this or Magali, but it actually says that the membership of that member would be reviewed at that time. People won't be just kicked off. They would be consulted with as to why that would happen. So just to be clear, but yes, that's my amendment.
Okay, and I think the amendment requires a second as well.
Second.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay. All right, and so with the substitute motion, the way I'm tracking this is that you would begin any review of a member's attendance from the time that the EJAC was the inception of the EJAC through today, and that person would you would actually assess their participation. You wouldn't just immediately kick them off. So let me just call the roll again on the substitute motion. So Miguel.
I see Magali has a hand up. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't see your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want you all to be aware that George has not been able to participate. And for the fairness also, Nam will be basically also on his third right now. So for the purpose of bringing this EJAC together and working as sort of like if policy passes, the policy comes into effect once the document is approved and voted on. So we don't have no policy prior to that in reality. And to be fair, I don't want to exclude already our colleagues that have not been attending. I do feel that we need to talk to them, but I don't want to just, remove or have a conversation about this, that they will be removed based on what we have decided and not what has been approved. Sort of like what is the law that should be,
Yeah.
that's my sentiment.
Yeah. I think no matter what, the process, you still have a process where you would talk to that person to see if they're still interested, have time. You wouldn't immediately kick anybody off. I don't think. I think that's the spirit of this. So Lean, you had a
It
hand up.
actually says
Or-
that, Greg, not to
Yeah.
just interrupt, but it actually says that in the
Yeah.
language. If the language is pulled back
Yeah.
up, we could see that. By the way, I would probably be guilty in this, Magali, and I would hope that in reviewing my attendance and when I talked about why I didn't attend, that I wouldn't be dismissed from the EJAC, but um, I I can go either way with this. I do agree with you that normally nothing starts until you vote on a policy and it's implemented. Though I have worked on policies where it's been backdated as well. So
I, I
we
I
have
did raise my hand to and I'm sorry to cut you off, Kevin. I just wanted to say
not at all, Miguel.
with
I have
regards to
nothing else to say.
no worries. With regards to the attendance portion, I would say those EJAC members that have missed, some of them have kind of in a sense followed the guidelines and let us know well in advance of their absences. And so that would not necessarily excuse them for every single absence, but it would not be something that we would instantly kick a person off for. We would definitely have to have a conversation. So even if we do implement this framework now, that wouldn't like trigger an instant dismissal of members George or Nam.
Okay.
I
Was there
have,
any?
I have another comment that I just have to make in that I don't believe the EJAC has the authority to kick anybody else off. I believe that would go up to either BES or DTSC, probably BES to determine. Again, we would need to know that from the agency. But on the other community advisory boards that I'm on for the state, that entity can't kick anybody off. We can recommend they be removed. But then, the agency itself has to agree, the board at the agency. So I
Okay.
don't know if that created more confusion or not. So.
Say something. Okay, in the councils and the committees, usually if somebody has something very important that they have to do at that time, they would let the body know, and that would be beforehand and not after the meeting, but beforehand, and that would be considered.
Yeah, essentially an excused absence,
Yeah.
essentially. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Ms. Stone. Serlene?
Yeah, I just want to, all of you are saying it, but I'm going to say there is a review process. It's outlined. Most of the members, when they're absent, have contacted at least the staff, if not the co-chairs, to explain what the absent is. So not putting people on blast right now, but we know why some people are absent. Whether that's acceptable or not is up to you all to discuss. But there is a process for review. There is a process for appointment, reappointment, or filling a vacancy. They're outlined in the framework, so it's not willy-nilly. But I think what I'm hearing you all strive for here is accountability. If I am a member of the EJAC and I'm going to be late or I am not going to show up, let somebody know so we can figure out what to do. And maybe if y'all can take it from there after review. So I think everything is being covered in your conversation.
Okay. All right. So to the chair, I would suggest retaking that vote just to make sure, because I don't think I finished going through the full roster. So based on that amendment that Kevin Hamilton made, I just want to poll the votes again. So Miguel,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Karen,
Yes.
Magali,
Abstain.
Ms. Stone.
Okay.
Okay, is it yes?
Yes. No. Okay.
Okay. All right. So it looks like the motion has carried. So thank you. We want to move to the next item, which is the report out from the work plan subcommittee. And I'm going to ask Ms. Stone if you would introduce your assistant who's going to be helping out with this.
Okay. Come on. You have to come over here. This side. Yes, this is Sabrina Crawford. She's one of the members of our church, and she's also educational. What are you?
I'm a pre-enroll technician.
Okay, they have to hear you.
Hello?
Just say,
Hi, Sabrina.
Hi.
just tell them who you are.
So you're going to be helping Miss Stone by reading the elements of these 8 areas of the work plan. And what we're going to do is you're going to read one. Miss Stone is going to make any comments about any of it, and then we would read the second one and so on. And then we'll take discussion at the conclusion from EJAC members as well as the members of the public. So Sabrina, if you could read the first one.
I don't see it on the screen right now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Staff, if we can pull that up.
One moment. Those were actually emailed directly to you, Ms. Stone, since we don't have a slide for that.
Well, it was my understanding that it would be on the screen just like it was the other day.
Okay, just give us a moment and we'll get that prepared for you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you need something to drink? Or if you want.
All right, Sabrina, can you see that?
Yes.
All right, if you would go ahead and read that first one.
Number 1, public engagement, transparency, metrics, community specific approaches.
We're talking about making it available that the community itself will understand what we're doing and the language and any like SEP and PPR and those kinds of things. If they can understand what we're saying and how they can have their meetings and maybe even be involved with members of DTSC if it's important for them to come down to see what's happening in the various communities.
Thank you. Sabrina, can you read the next one?
2, enforcement.
And Ms. Stone, just for sake of clarity, do you want Sabrina to read the language under each one as well?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead, Sabrina.
How EJAC would gather information and get to DTSC and how to resolve the problem.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, Ms. Stone, any comments on that one?
Well, we're gonna gather information either by meetings or surveys or fact sheets, we need to be able to get it to the either DTSC or the BES or whatever group is going to be handling the concern for whatever toxin that we're identifying in the communities.
Great, thank you. Sabrina, can you read the next one, please?
Yes. Safer consumer products, SCP programs. Important, looking at products that cause harm in facial, makeup, hair products, not just toxins in the air, but what we use.
And to me, that's very important because the information that has not been available to the public and using hair products and lye and permitting your hair, those things have not been given to the public to let them know that even the makeup that they're using and certain things on your body, could even be perfumes or whatever, or jewelry, will affect your health. And so that is very exciting because even the EPA is now, the Environmental Protection Agency is recognizing that we have more problems that need to be opened up to our community and maybe given fact sheets or just information about these products.
Excellent, thank you. Sabrina, can you read the next one, please?
For permitting process. Superfund sites that have lots of pollution like military bases, laboratories, industries. Hazardous waste permitting, hazardous waste management plan, etc.
Okay, and that includes landfills and what's being done to protect the public from these toxins. And like red oak, you use a pesticide supposedly to kill the red oak. And so the pesticide just might be as dangerous or more than the red oak.
All right, thank you. How about the next one, Sabrina?
Collaboration with EJACs, identifying other EJACs and who they are, and what they do.
Okay, I just recently found out that there were other EJACs. They're not the state EJAC, which we are, but it would really be helpful to know who they are and what they do and how we can communicate.
Excellent. Sabrina, would you please read number 6?
Superfund sites, community education, DTSC role funding needs, technical assistance for the communities these sites are in would need technical advisory for these areas.
Technical advisor is someone that is hired through a grant that will come in and look at documents and make them understandable to the local community and have those documents to go to whatever department they need to go to and to go to the community itself.
Thank you. Sabrina, could you read the next one?
Yes. 7, pollution prevention and significant new alternatives. New alternatives, looking at communities that have had success in dealing with pollution prevention.
And in that, we're talking about there are communities that have been dealing with some toxins better than other communities. And so how can we communicate and use their process in other communities? That would be helpful.
Great, thank you. And the last one, could you read that for us, Sabrina?
Yeah, hold on. Okay. 8, outreach and education to specific communities. Outreach and education are very important as far as getting information to communities with fact sheets and during community meetings. Collecting information from DTSC and getting out to the public.
Okay. And that would be more like a work plan, actually have the community to meet and to take that information and then communicate it back to the department.
All right, excellent. We're going to open this up now for EJAC to engage in some discussion about this work plan. So the floor is open, and we'll take, and I believe we're still going to take public comment on this as well. Yeah, go ahead, Miguel.
I wanted to start by saying that I was a part of this committee, obviously, in its creation. And one of the things that I want to throw out there, and of course that my fellow EJAC members can make a comment, but I just wanted to say, I think we may have bit off a little bit more than we can swallow, if that's how the saying goes, because I think that as well-intentioned as this is, and as amazing of a team that we are, I think that some of these items, when we look at them all together in a list and see just the scope of this work, I think it may be above our current capacity. And so I just wanted to maybe flag if this EJAC would be willing to reduce some of the points. And when I say reduce, I never ever mean to downplay the importance of these issues, the issues that are burdening community members. I think those are absolutely important, but I also would say that we may have a capacity issue in actually seeing these things all the way out through the end. And I would hate to be a continuance of, say, folks that may have that perceived notion of, oh, the government agencies never follow through with what they say they're going to do. And so I want to make sure that we're not taking on so many things that eventually we set ourselves up for failure, where we can't deliver the promises that we're making to our constituents and to our very own community members that we serve and love. And so I just wanted to flag that as maybe something that we can start to look at with this work plan.
Yeah. Karen, you had a hand up.
I did. So, yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for the report and for the priorities. I was sort of thinking along the same lines as Miguel. I identified a couple of the 8 that I thought might be priorities, but I also wanted to get a sense from the work plan subcommittee of if of the 8 priority areas that have been identified, are they listed as sort of are they ranked? Are they listed in any particular order? Was there a plan to look at the 8 and for us to deliberate in terms of identifying 2 or 3 priorities? I'm just wondering what the conversations were around how to proceed with the work plan given the several priorities that are listed.
I'm speaking
Okay,
for myself when I
okay,
say,
just a minute. I would like to answer that. It
Okay.
started with myself and Num. Miguel was not there. And so the points that we have made are thoroughly important and is not spread out like it's this governance document. It states very clearly what we need to look at and that we do love our community or we wouldn't be involved at all. It's about communication, it's about action, and it's about respect for whatever is going on, that we at least try to make sure that this information will be looked at or tried to fit into what we're doing. If you don't even know the definition for environmental justice, we have one: balancing the need of the people with the care of the environment. That means if you work, play, live wherever, that is what this is doing. And how could these little 8 paragraphs be so misunderstood? It sounds like what you're saying. So I am just really like, wow. Well, you go ahead. If you want to beat it up, beat it up.
Well, thank you, Ms. Stone. Magali, and anybody else who wants to weigh in on this.
I agree with Ms. Stone. I believe that eventually we can tackle each project issue as it comes along. There are many things that are happening right now with the DTSC permitting and waste into certain neighborhoods. Those are going to come along because none of us know about that. Sometimes the community is the one that brings it. So what she's saying about community engagement and everything that she has that right there, eventually they will come up and we need to work. And I think she's already foreseen that. And that's why I totally agree that all of that might not, we don't have the capacity, but we do have funds to invest in community engagement. I truly believe that we can do this. And great work, Ms. Levon. Very, very, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, one thing, and this is just as a facilitator, I'm noticing there's 2 kinds of things on this list. Some of these are process. So like things like public engagement, collaboration with other EJACs, outreach and education to specific communities. That's, to me, those are the ways that you do this. And then you look at safer consumer products as a focus, or you look at permitting processes. So there may be a requirement, a need to do a little bit of refinement to the list, not so much to the list itself, but to say which of these things are like you would do for safer consumer products. You would engage the community, you would might collaborate with other EJACs, you might do more outreach and education. It's a way of doing some things that it just seems like it jumps out at me. But other comments, other suggestions about how to move this going forward, because you're not in a position to vote on any of this today, but to refine this is the opportunity that you have before you. Kevin?
So I agree with you, Greg. I think, and I agree that this is a really great list, and that there is nothing on here that bothers me as far as, do I want to do this, or do I not? Do I think it's important? Do I not? I want to do it all I want to, and I believe all of it's important. I see some of it as tasks that need to be done, and others are more uh, education. And then some are, I mean, there, as you pointed out, there's different actions happening within this list of 8 things. They're all critical to what this EJAC is going to do, and belong in its work plan. I'm just not seeing. It's more like a task list in a lot of ways for me, and that's good. It's good to have a task list. How do you turn a task list into a work plan? Maybe is more where I'm being challenged with this. But there is nothing on here that, I mean, I've brought up collaboration with other EJACs several times in our conversations, and brought it up on the other 2 EJACs that I'm part of. And then you have, as you mentioned, others that maybe we don't know about, especially in South Coast Air District has one. So does the one in the Bay Area. So does San Joaquin Valley have their own EJAC. So the capacity issue is certainly valid, because, again, if I was going to try to reach out to all of them, CEC has one. I mean, because I've been on that. It's, it's quite a job. It's quite a task. So
That was
without
not
a timeline, it's difficult to say, yeah, we want to take this on in our
that was
first year.
Miguel was one of the people that suggested the other EJACs, and
Yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
if it's or not, but it's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it belongs.
They be in there.
Okay.
But some of them are education. When we say permitting processes, I agree. How does that, as far as a work plan, what are we going to work on?
We are okay. You asked me a question. May I answer it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, please. Ms. Stone, and then Tracy has something she wanted to add. And also, I want to ask if there's any other comments that we're seeing in the Spanish-speaking line, or on the or otherwise. But go ahead, Ms. Stone, and then
I want to be clear. I support all of it. I just have questions. That's all.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Go ahead, Ms. Stone.
I'm still. What was the question?
Is how do we, given that there's 6 of us or 5 of us, how do we go about? This is a big list, man. So how do we?
Well, let me
do
answer
it?
the question. Let me answer the
Yes.
question. Permitting is very important. You got industry. You got the landfills. You got community. And so permitting is very important. Why would you give a person a permit when you know that they're coming in with a company that is bringing information or toxins into a community that's going to affect that community, but you're going to fine them or something like that? What good is fining them if they're still going to bring that kind of stuff into the community? And that question, permitting, is very important, because we have been talking a long time about who's giving these permits, who is allowing the builders to come in, go home after they build expensive housing, when you got people walking on the streets and needing housing, and industries that's bringing in toxins that are detrimental to the health of the community. Permitting, you need to read about it and think about it. Excuse me. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear from Tracy and Serlene and Magali.
I was just going to offer the work plan subcommittee that there is an option to do a deeper dive on this. I know that this initial meeting was more of a brainstorm just to get that list together to identify what priority areas you could consider for the work plan. But to Kevin's point in regards to the timelines and where the focus areas are going to be first and things of that nature. We do have space in December, and then you have a working meeting also scheduled in January. The next public meeting will be in February, the last Wednesday of the month. So if the work plan subcommittee would like to discuss maybe having a deeper dive and doing some more work on this to share with the public in February, that's also an option.
Okay. Thank you, Tracy. Serlene and then Magali.
Yeah, so I want to address Kevin's question about like permitting. How does this work? And I can't really see the participant list, but I know that someone like Miguel and Ambar who participated, they might appreciate or at least relate to this. When DTSC makes permitting decisions, they are looking, as Ms. Stone said, at hazardous waste facilities and what kinds of restrictions will be put on them or not. And in the previous generation of DTSC, that might have just happened. Somebody might have went and walked around the site and said that this is what we can do or whatever, and this is what we're going to do. What we have tried to do since in the 2 years that I have been here is really solicit community voices and look at the lived experience in a community. Whether it turns out to be good or bad, we have tried to, good or bad in that whether we deliver everything a community wants is up for discussion. But we have tried in earnest to bring community voices into the permitting decision, the decision making. And that is one of the, so when Greg talked about some of this is about process, that would be the permitting process. That would be the kind of thing that we could get more advice and information from you all on. That could be looked at later with the work plan subcommittee and with the full EJAC. But that's just a snippet of how permitting plays into this. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Magali?
I wanted to say that the work plan is based on the plan of what we're going to be working on. That's how I see it. It's not a plan that it says, oh, we're going to do A, B, and C already completely structured on a project that we're already working on, right? So for example, one of the community members just brought me that there were a notice to the public that there was going to be a new permit given to a company that doesn't exist anymore, but is working under another name, which is Tesoro, right? Tesoro doesn't exist now. It's Marathon. It's the largest refinery in the West Coast, right? I got that, and I asked then who's giving this permit, and this name doesn't exist anymore. This is the business people that are actually conducting business, and they should be requesting the permits, new permits based on their new entity. And that's what, this is work that I think we should all tackle together as an EJAC so we can give feedback to the DTSC and especially the project manager who's working on this. So based on those criteria that Ms. Levon and the committee worked on, I think it's just to giving us, these are the samples of what the issues that we're going to be tackling, and these should be our priorities. That's how I see it. I don't know if that's the way. And then if whatever work comes after, I think then that will fall under those criterias, then we can start planning and then do timelines and everything.
Cool. Thank you for that. Kevin?
Serlene, thank you for your update on permitting. I'm very familiar with permitting across multiple agencies and how that works and how it can not work for the communities. But I was not suggesting that we shouldn't take up any of these. I was more wondering how we would have the capacity to do that. And so, but now I see that we're very early days in this process of developing a work plan guideline, essentially, what should we be looking at, and that we would talk more as we bring each one of these up on, where do we start, and what are our goals there, and gathering information and that whole phase. So as I mentioned before, I'm perfectly fine with the list itself, through that lens, that this is a proposed list of what we should be building our work around, the various areas we should be working in. So
It's not just a
I'm
list.
glad to hear that you're being more interactive with the permitting. I just want to mention that, part of this is we're going to rely on you for information. Some years ago, we had to Armlock Card to provide us with their entire permitting list, for various hazardous waste sites that communities had brought to us as problematic at my organization at that time. And we had the capacity to pull all their data for reporting for the last 30 years.
You're
And we
asking me
found that a huge
another
number of
question.
those folks had not complied with their requirements. Now, to the agencies, for props for them, when we turned that list over to them, we didn't go to the newspapers or anything. They contacted every one of them and made them come into compliance with their hazardous waste plans and safety plans. So, I mean, the data is out there. It's a matter of, do you have access to it? I still remember the agency saying it's just so huge. Can you guys handle that much data? And again, because we were able to do that. But most people, most nonprofits would not have been able or even thought about that kind of thing. But we're
Okay.
data fanatics.
Okay.
So that's where the concern is. It's not so much what you're doing today, it's the hangovers from yesterday.
Can I answer it? What you said is longer than this list here.
Actually, it was one thing on the list.
Yeah, one thing on, but you made it longer than the whole list. What I'm talking about is working toward knowledge and having the community to participate and get information. However, we get it together. Some communities are farther along than other communities, depending on what it is that they're dealing with. What kind of health threats are coming from whatever group, industry, or military, or whatever. We can't all see exactly how to work in the environment that we're in unless we know what environment we're in. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Hello,
Well,
all.
here's
Samantha Reed.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Greg. This is Samantha Reed. I just wanted to let you know we only have a few minutes left on this agenda item before we need to move on.
Yeah, I'm very aware. So
Awesome. Thank you so
what
much.
I was gonna try to transition us to the next thing by basically saying like this can go back to the work plan subcommittee for some additional work during the month of December, as Tracy mentioned earlier. This was intended, I think, to be a start, and it's been a good start and getting the conversation out there. We got members of the public who weighed in on a couple things. Beatrice Riccardi is saying, I cannot understand how a company can, like Chemetco and Ecobat, run without a permit while emitting carcinogen agents and lead into environmental, affecting many of us who live in the city of industry and Hacienda Heights and Avocado Heights. So you're already getting some public comments about this, and this piece around public engagement is super important. The next agenda item actually is a report from one of your other consultants about outreach. So I would suggest then taking this back to the work planning committee, given the comments that people made today, and begin refining this, not necessarily reducing the list or any of that, but refining the list and an approach to this, and come back in January with a report to the full group. If that makes sense. Ms. Stone, does that make sense for you and
That's
Miguel?
fine with me.
That's fine. Okay. All
That
right.
makes perfect sense.
Okay. Cool. All right. Let's move to this next item. Can you get to the next slide? Bring it up. And this is a report out from Equity and Wellness Institute, and I think we're going to be hearing from Dr. Tamu Green on this item. So, Tamu.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank
Good
you
evening.
for having
Hey.
me. And I have a very brief report out for you, but just wanted to give you the highlights on what we've been working on recently at the Equity and Wellness Institute. So the first thing that we've been working on is a really robust review of DTSC materials to build a shared understanding. So we've conducted this thorough review of DTSC documents and past public engagement plans, as well as your council work plans. We've identified areas where clarification and alignment would support stronger community engagement, and I've compiled that in a 37-page document. The second area that we've been working on is learning from national environmental justice leaders. So I'm really happy that we were able to participate in the Yale Center for Environmental Justice session, False Narratives and False Urgency, unpacking the links between AI and environmental justice, where they examined how AI data centers and related infrastructure impact environmental justice communities. And they also reviewed a new AI-supported tool developed by Yale to help community organizers strengthen advocacy and power building. And we're bringing these learnings forward to support the Council's understanding of emerging EJ challenges. Magali, I see your hand. Is it okay if I finish these last couple of bullet points?
And just wanted to ask you if you had other slides than just the first one.
No, there's no slides. It's just
okay.
talking points. Yeah. So the other area that we've been working on is understanding council members' priorities, history, and needs. We met remotely with co-chairs Lincoln and Alatorre, which was wonderful. And also I met in person with Ms. Stone in her hometown to better understand the history of their work and the evolution of the council's efforts. We listened to members' priorities, concerns, and desired outcomes for the council's next phase and gathered insights on what council members need in order to engage effectively and move the work forward. And we're using this feedback to inform how we support planning, communication, and meeting facilitation. And then lastly, we have been working with the work plan subcommittee. So we sat in on their subcommittee meeting and organized the subcommittee meeting notes and developed 2 options for formatting the draft work plan. And I'll also mention, it looks like I am joined here by my colleague, Dr. Christina Corbet, who's also on this project. So that is my brief report out for you all.
Cool. Thank you, Dr. Green. We just want to open this up for any comments that council members have based on that report. The floor is open. Go ahead, Karen, and then Magali.
Thank you. So thank you for that report. I don't know. I feel a little disconnected from the process because I don't quite understand the connection between the work that you've been engaging in and the EJAC. I know, for example, that co-chair Alatorre and I met with you all, but I don't remember that I don't remember the specific outcome. It was more of an introduction.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess what I want to understand is how, if you can summarize, I know you gave a really good summary of the activities. Could you help us understand how the actions that you've been engaged in thus far is going to be connected with the EJAC as a whole? Because I don't even believe we've met as a full EJAC with the consultants. And so I want to better understand the process moving forward based on the background work that you've been doing so far.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. So it is interesting because we have a scope of work and we have deliverables within our scope of work. And so that's what we have been moving forward. And in as much as we can do that, while of course meeting you where you are with moving forward your own work plan. So one of the things that was when we presented at the last meeting and we talked about the tasks that we're doing, essentially the deliverables are what we're working towards at this point. When we're looking at doing an outreach and engagement plan and implementation, for example, we're looking at, well, what are the best practices around outreach and engagement? And so that's part of the research that we have been pulling together, but also around assessing DTSC's public engagement. That's part of looking at the documents that already exist, essentially, that we are able to pull from and see where there's alignment to what it is that DTSC is already doing, compare that with what it is that the council is interested in doing, what the council's vision is, and seeing where there's overlap and where there are gaps. So that's the kind of the nature of the work that we're doing. And then again, things like, you know, going out and seeing, are there innovations that we can learn from, like in the AI EJ space, that we can pull in. So it's a lot of kind of background work to support you so that when you're ready to kind of launch forward with your work plan, that we can be right there with you to help and support in any way that we're able.
No, and just really quickly, I see Magali's hand. I think at some point, maybe some communication in terms of the work that you're engaging in, since we don't really connect often. It would be nice to know, just to hear from you all, you know, what you're involved in and how it's going to support our work, because we're not, I mean, this is helpful, but
Yeah.
you know, we were kind of working in the dark. So maybe just some lines of communication just to give us updates and to let us know just some of the activities that are happening.
Tell us how you would like that to happen. Like, we're happy to do check-in, you know, Zoom calls a couple times a month, or we're happy to do sort of an email to you all. What would be most beneficial in terms of that communication? How would you like that communication?
Well, I can't speak for everyone. My preferred method is email.
Okay.
It's fast, it's easy, and it's accessible, but just in general, there may be other preferences for the members.
I would like to see a Zoom meeting at least sometimes.
Yeah. Hold on, Miss Stone. Magali had her hand up.
Oh, sorry.
But
I was
but
just.
the Zoom, but your suggestion is there. So email works for Karen. Zoom calls may work for you, Magali. You had your hand up before this came up, but any comments you wanted to make about this?
Yes, I am not sure. Also, I'm like Karen. I am not connecting what you're saying to what we're doing. One of the things is that we work. My expertise, community engagement, and I created something that is called reverse engineered. And I'm pretty sure Karen has a lot of expertise on community engagement as well. So on that support, I think we can give you that support and that information that we have because we work with different communities, right? Maybe that will be good for you to have. And the best practices, you know, I honestly, I have written a document for best practices using ancestral practices. And I let the community, the members of the community that are vulnerable communities being affected by all these industries to decide how those meetings will take place. So we don't impose anything on them.
Raise my hand.
And on the best way of communicating, Zoom works for me, phone calls works for me. I'm not that formal. I'm very informal. So anything like that. But I just like Karen, I cannot connect what the work we're doing with what you're doing.
Magali, if you have any documents or resources like the ones that you've referenced that you want to send our way so that we can incorporate them into the summary that we're creating and into the recommendations, we would love that.
Okay,
right,
I'll
Kevin?
send it to you. Why don't we talk if we set up a meeting?
I would love that. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you for that, Magali. Kevin?
So I want to echo.
And Miss, hold on one
Echo.
second, Kevin. Kevin, hold on one second. Miss Stone, I think I have you in the queue if you're trying to raise your hand as well.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, so Kevin and then
Oh.
Miss.
You can you can take a break.
Yeah, you're
Let her.
unmuted.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm fine with Ms. Levon going first.
Go ahead, Miss Levine, and then Kevin.
If we're talking about working with communities, I have done that not only in the state of California, but all over the country. And so we all have these skills, or else I don't think we would be on the EJAC in the first place or have been chosen to be a part of the EJAC. So first of all, I think that we need to give each other more credit and not just like do me, not just some people who have done some things. The things that I have done, I don't really like the fact that I just shoot it all out there. But if you can look me up if you want to, I mean, as far as community engagement and working with communities and that kind of thing, my resume is long and big in the heart. The
I
thing
know I
about
have looked you up and I have seen that.
yeah, so we should all work from whatever point that we're at in being a member of the EJAC and not just put some people forward and some backwards. That's what I've been looking at. Okay, I'll shut up now. Go ahead.
You're
I think
okay.
what you were, I'm sorry, Greg. Ms. Stone,
No,
I
go
think
ahead,
you were
Kevin.
saying that you really want us to build off of the expertise that all of you have in community engagement, and that is entirely what we intend to do. So
Okay.
absolutely, anything at all that we can kind of coalesce around the expertise that all of you have to be able to bring that together for the council, that's what we want to help to facilitate.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, Kevin, you got a little bit more, and we got about 20 minutes left. We have another period of public comment on just general items before we break. So Kevin, and then anybody else who wants to get in who has not had a chance to speak. Miguel, anybody else? Go ahead, Kevin.
Great, thanks for that presentation there, Dr. Green. I appreciate it. It would be, I'm a literal kind of person, and I learn basic better through reading than I do visually through and listening. So for me, in the future, a few bullets would be really appreciated. And that way I can track a little more effectively. I've got various disabilities, that's one of them.
Kevin, I do want to
And
say that everything that I said was actually bullet pointed out in the document that was sent to everyone by Samantha earlier today, the facilitator agenda. So you all actually do have everything that I said in that document.
I'll take a look at it. I'd prefer to have it from you individually because I'm more likely to look at the whole thing as I spend a lot of my day looking through documents
Okay.
that are more imminent, believe it or not, and often just before whatever comes next, because like many of us, including you, we're all busy, right? So if I get it from you, as I think was mentioned by email ahead of time, then it's on me to look at it. If I get a big thing like that beforehand, I'm still looking at it by the time I get around to, sadly, to being in this meeting. I wish that wasn't true, and it isn't always, but most of the time. So uh, I look forward to your work, and I'm excited about the opportunity it creates. So let's see how it goes.
All right.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'll make sure that you get the points separately.
All right. Miguel?
I'm gonna make this real brief just because I know we're almost out of time. But in terms of how I would like to receive information from work being done by Equity and Wellness Institute is, I think Ms. Stone was right that some of us could use, myself included, like an office hours, just so we can check in with you guys directly and be like, hey, what's going on? I may not have time, as Kevin referenced, to read through a plethora of emails. So sometimes the face-to-face contact can be really, really important. I would say the other thing is, as community oriented as I am on the outside, on the inside, when it comes to internal documents and stuff, I really do enjoy the bureaucracy of the state at times, and their time logs is a really great way for me to correlate your work with the task that you're doing. So it would be nice in the future if we can set you up like a time log where you're telling, us as the EJAC, okay, for example, I, Tamu Green, spent 8 hours doing research because I wanted to achieve this deliverable. And let's say we're tying it to the ones that Miss Stone and the rest of the team came up with. Let's say, for example, we're working on collaboration with other EJACs, then you would show me, on the time log, okay, I spent this much time doing this effort to forward this particular line. And that would be all for my feedback. But other than that, it's going to be a pleasure working with you. So look forward to it.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for that.
very much. I
Thank you,
appreciate that.
Miguel. Ms. Stone, you get the last word on this for the moment before we begin to close out. I see your hand raised.
Sir, it's a student here. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, my name is Caitlin
You have to
Robinson.
talk.
I'm talking. They can hear me. They can hear me. Hello, my name is Caitlin Robinson. I'm a secretary for the Fort Ord Environmental Justice Youth Advisory Committee. My parent company is the Fort Ord Environmental Justice Network. Our mission is to balance the care of the community with the environment. In Monterey County, which includes communities near California State University, Monterey Bay, CSUMB, environmental justice concerns remain serious in 2025, especially for youth and young adults under 30. Recent air monitoring data shows that roughly 80% of air samples collected from agriculture intensive communities had delectable pesticide residues, meaning many young people are growing up and learning in environments where toxins are present in the air they breathe. Monterey County also has one of the highest percentages of students attending schools near heavy pesticide application, placing children, teens, and college-age students at increased risk for respiratory illness and long-term health effects during critical stages of development. Toxins used in Monterey County also have direct impact on schools that serve youth. It is estimated that over 60% of schools in the Salinas Valley are located within 1 mile of active agricultural pesticide use, increasing the chances of exposure for students under 18 as well as young adults in nearby colleges. Youth and young adults in these high exposure areas are estimated to be 30 to 50% more likely to experience asthma and other respiratory problems than those in lower pollution areas. And off script, my little brother could be a result of pesticide use as well. At the age of 2, he was diagnosed with leukemia. We don't know what happened, but he was diagnosed with leukemia. those in lower pollution areas, which can affect attendance, learning, and overall quality of life. Sustainable youth-focused accountability questions. What plans do local and state leaders have to protect children, teens, and college-age youth from pesticide exposure? What plans do local and state leaders have to protect children, teens, and college-age youth from pesticide exposure?
I'm sorry, I just wanted to clarify. Is that a question that's being asked to the EJAC as a whole?
Yes, that's being asked to the EJAC as a whole.
Okay. Well, I speak for myself when I say that this is something that's really near and dear to my heart is the pesticide issue as I live in an agricultural community, right, that's bordered on, I think, all four fronts by a really heavy agricultural industry. And so we've been looking for solutions as well. And so I could say to the best of my ability, I would love to discuss that with you offline from this meeting in terms of what are some solutions that we can do, because I do believe that's more in line with work that we can do with the EJAC that's at the Department of Pesticide Regulation versus this EJAC, but I'm more than willing to find ways that we can collaborate together to make sure that communities are protected. With regards to youth, this is another part of the work that I think goes with within the lens of public engagement, as the public also includes young people, right? And so it's always been something that I've worked in my personal organization, and hopefully together with all the brilliant minds in this EJAC, we find ways to cater our message to the younger generation who definitely need to learn about pesticides and other toxins within their community, how to protect themselves, and the things that they can do to become active behind those things. Go ahead, Maga.
I truly appreciate you for saying what you just said and bringing this to the table. This is the type of work that we should be doing. And I would like to suggest that this type of presentation should become to in front of us for the next meeting in our agenda.
Okay, thank you. And we'll for today maybe view this as public comment. So thank you to the young lady that was there with Miss with Miss Levon. Is there any other?
I have my hand up.
Okay. Your hand was up when she started talking, so I wasn't sure if that was the. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Ms. Stone.
Those
And then
are
we got about 10 minutes before
okay.
we
No,
close out.
I'll be quick. Those are the kinds of things that we're talking about. The work plan. If these things are included in the work plan, these are the kinds of issues we need to be addressing. It may not be that way in all communities, but this is something that is very urgently important to us, and especially our school-aged children. So it's not an isolated incident. And so it has to be recognized in the work plan, these situations for whatever communities we're in.
All right. Were there any other, thank you for that. Were there any other public comments before we close out? Anybody on the Spanish speaking section of this, anybody else who wanted to speak as a member of the public? All right. Any last comments from EJAC members themselves? Anybody want to make any last comment before we, a couple of announcements and then close out?
I did want to just say one quick thing. Thank you to everyone that's participated. And I do want to say in the year of 26, I'm hoping that we as EJAC members and the rest of the folks that are on this call could do to the best of our efforts to bring more community members and more people onto these calls, because I don't want to just do this and present to DTSC all the time, right? We actually do want, community members to hear our message and see the work that we do and know that there's a bunch of leaders across the state that are coming together for the betterment of them. I also do want to differentiate that we are not a government agency. We're not DTSC. We are very much separate. We're community members first and foremost, and we're an advisory body. So I did want to make that distinguishment because I'm not a part of the government.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, Magali?
Yeah, I'm going for a public comment, and that's going to be that there is the largest refinery in the Southwest, which is the Marathon right now. A former known as Tesoro Refining and Marketing Company has requested a permit which has expired already for them to take all their waste into a channel that goes through Carson and Wilmington. And I wanted to bring it to your attention because this is something that we should be looking out for. There's no way we can accept for an old name to request a permit for a new name, which is Marathon, request a permit to, again, to renew a permit on the name of the old company. They changed it for a purpose, so we should be looking out for things like this. This is unacceptable because there's other chemicals now. There's a larger company now, and this is going right under our eyes, under in our water into the ground, and it's going through a channel that goes through Carson and Wilmington. Wanted just to bring this to your attention because this was brought to my attention through a community resident in Wilmington. I checked with Charlene, and she did connect me with the right person. And then suddenly yesterday there was a last day for public comment. And I did what I could to put a public comment out there that this is unacceptable, that you have a different process. This is a new company, a lot larger because they merged with two refineries, and they cannot get away with this, basically. And we are here to make sure that they don't get away with this type of practices. I'm bringing it to your attention because I would like for all of us to take a look at this. I will email you my statement against it, and I want us to do something about it under the working plan guidelines that Ms. Levon and Miguel and Nam worked on.
Cool, thank you for that. Ms. Stone, you had a last comment?
What I'm looking at, even though the communities in the state of California have different things that's happening in those communities. That's why this work plan is addressing as many as possible ways for us to connect and to work in our various communities on those items that are affecting the health of our children, our people, our veterans, our whoever. And that's the goal of the EJAC. And so I'm just reminding everyone that we're looking at communities, and we're looking at working in our communities and addressing those things that are affecting the people where we live, work, and play.
Right, thank you so much. Any last comment from EJAC members before we close out? All right, we don't see any comments in the Spanish speaking room, so I think we're okay there. We want to remind everybody that the next public meeting is on Wednesday, February 25th, 2026 at 5 p.m. and to 7 p.m. And offline, we'll want to make sure that council members can confirm that. You're also, council members and subcommittees are scheduled to meet on January 28th of 2026, and we need your confirmations on that. And for, as I say, for the good of the order, Miguel and Karen, any final remarks before we close out as the co-chairs?
Just eternally grateful to everyone who's a part of this process and really happy to be a part of an amazing team and looking forward to the victories that we gain for communities in 26 and beyond.
Karen?
Yeah, I echo that, and I'm really looking forward to continued engagement and expanding the engagement as we move forward and coalesce as an EJAC and have an active and strong work plan so that we can support our communities. And I wish everyone a good night and a happy holidays, because we probably won't see you until the new year. And so I wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season.
Well, likewise. Thanks everybody for participating. Thanks to staff and the members of the public who joined us tonight. And Karen and Miguel, wishing you a happy holiday season. And Ambar, thank you for being here. And have a good night. So we are adjourned.
Good night. Thank you all.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.